Well, hey there, gardening friends. It is that time. We are starting tomatoes tonight. And my buddy Tom over at the Frugal Prepper, he'll be glad to know that Supersonics will be part of our seed starting efforts tonight. So I'm running a little low on real estate. My plan was to get the peppers out to the greenhouse this weekend, but given the temperatures, I didn't want to risk it, even though we've got a heater in there and got things set up to where we can handle some frost and stuff. Just didn't want to risk it. A couple years ago, I had brought some tomatoes out. I think a day after transplanting them and all that, and temperatures dipped down in the greenhouse, and I lost half my plants. So I don't want to do that with peppers, knowing that they are a warm weather vegetable. I don't want to risk losing them. So they're going to stay in the grow room for at least a couple more days till they get situated in their new pots and stuff. But I will be moving some things around because I do need to get these tomatoes going. So let me show you what I'm doing. First off, I had to go back into the my little seed bank and pull some varieties that I didn't have any seeds from, that I'd saved back from 2019. Now, I'd saved back all the varieties that I typically grow, but about half of the seed packets are missing. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing that they got misplaced, thrown away, but I've looked everywhere. I can't find them. So I ended up pulling seeds from 2018, one variety from 2017 to get that variety. And I was kind of going through things. I found the tomato seeds that I was going to enter into Mrs. Green Thumb's tomato challenge, which I'll have a separate video on that. But the Dallas Wilson Cuban is a variety I'm growing for that this year. So I got all my packets, and you can really tell a difference between seed company seed and the stuff that you save year after year from your best crops just by the sheer size of the seeds. For example, this Lair tomato, this new variety I got from Ohio Seed Company, Ohio Heirloom Seeds. Let me put some of them out on the table for comparison, if there's any in there. So there's their seeds, and it looks decent. We don't want to lose any of those since there's only like 10 maybe in there. Let's pull some from here that I saved. These are a little darker. These are my pink Brandywine. I got some larger ones there. On the whole, most of mine are averaging that size. And again, I've got the luxury of picking them from my my biggest ones. So to start tomatoes, what I've done, I've got tin pots here. These are like a 3x3x5 or 3x3x4. They're pretty decent sized pots. I got my seed starting mixture, filled the pots, tamped it down, sprinkled in my seeds, at least 20 seeds per variety. Make sure we get some decent germination. This first one I just did, I cover it with just enough grow mix that everything's covered, none of the seeds are poking through. And then I took a handkerchief and laid it over there and just dumped water on it, to water this in real good. Of course, I got the popsicle sticks to label all the varieties, my starts here. But I'm going to be repeating that process for all of these as far as covering them, watering them in. And I've got one more to plant there, which is going to be the probably the Supersonics. We'll get going in that pot. These seeds are a little smaller than even those there. This is supposed to be a larger variety tomato. But we'll get all those going. And then in about, assuming the conditions are right, 3 days or so, I should see some sprouts. And within a week, we should have all these pots sprouted, and then need to probably separate them out and pick out the best ones that we're going to move forward with. And ideally, I'd like to get 9 of each variety. I'm going to grow start between 10 to 13 varieties total, depending. Some of them from my garden, a fair amount, to give away to friends and stuff like that. But we'll get all that going. And then around Memorial Day weekend, probably either that weekend or a little after that, I will get the tomatoes planted in the ground, assuming the weather cooperates this year. We'll kind of see how that goes. One thing that I will show you here real quick. Well, before we do that, once I get these covered and watered in, I will try to get them underneath, or at least in a warm spot. Because really at this point, all they need is heat and moisture to sprout. And then once they're sprouted, I'll have to worry about the light. But by then, later this week, my hope is to get all these peppers out to the greenhouse and let them kind of finish their time out there. Got some romaine lettuce going. That's going good. I did pick up 2 more of those boxes. See if we can find them. So I got 2 more boxes to set up. And then this one here I need to start over because that lettuce it's in pretty bad shape from the frost that I forgot to cover the box or take it in, so I'm gonna have to start that box over. So anyway, we're well on our way. It'll be interesting to see how these varieties do this year. Again, my experience has been any of the new ones that I tried, typically the first year, maybe not the best as things are getting adjusted to the environment. I mean, they still do decent, but not as well as subsequent years in most cases. Most of the varieties I'm growing are from seed that I saved. So the variety's already adjusted to some extent to the environment that it's going to be going into. And it's every year I try to pick the fruit or whatever that's most true to type or best looking size wise, you know, healthy, no blemishes, no disease, anything like that. And just things continue to get better most years, year after year. You know, every once in a while, maybe there's a year where there's a crop failure or something because of some extreme conditions, but um, typically, you know, I'm able to get something pretty decent year after year and just continue to save seeds, which is neat because then you can kind of build up your little seed bank. So that way, if you do have a bad year, or you know, maybe seeds that you save get misplaced or whatever, you know, that you intended to put up with the rest of them, whatever, you still have that variety. It's not like you've lost it. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on tonight. We'll finish this up and then check back in later, you know, and see how things go. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening.